So Parikshit Maharaj has asked several questions to Shukadeva Goswami, and Shukadeva Goswami he starts answering. So while answering, initially he answered some of the questions related to the soul, and in order to answer more, he started describing about the Lord Brahmaji at the time of creation when he could not. So that time. So that time he heard towards tapa tapa. So that time he performed tapasya and he attained the darshan of Vaikuntha Loka, where different features of Vaikuntha Loka are described. How Vaikuntha is free from all the dualities of Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. It is full of Shuddha Sattva. And Vaikuntha Vasis, they are all looking similar to Vishnu, and airplanes, they are all well decorated, and all the women are all nicely decorated, and everyone is always engaged in Lord's, remembering Lord's activities. And Lakshmi Devi is also engaged in serving the Lord. And the Lord is also looking very effulgent, very beautiful, and he is surrounded by so many of his associates. In this way, that Vaikuntha is and Brahmaji, he got that darshan. Lord actually took, like he touched Brahmaji's hands with his own hand, and he spoke that I am actually pleased with whatever austerities that you have spoken, and whatever austerities you have underwent. That is all actually my mercy, and you have attained the supreme fortune of seeing my lokas, and this is this devotional activities that you have done, that is very close to my heart, and therefore please ask some benediction. So like that he is requested Brahmaji. So Brahmaji has requested that he needs to carry out creation, that is his duty. So like I want to understand all of your forms, material and spiritual forms, and how different energies of the Lord are working, and how is your Yogamaya, Mahamaya, they are all working, and how they are, you carry out your pastimes in relation to those energies. And I want to carry out the service of creation. So, but while doing, there can be two obstacles any service which we are doing. We can become affected by tamoguna, like laziness, and we can also be affected by rajoguna, like pride and other things. So please, I should not get carried away by pride and other bondages. So what should I do? Please give me. So for that, Lord is answering. He was mentioning that in 4 shlokas, he is answering the entire Bhagavatam. So these are called as Chatushloki Srimad Bhagavatam, which we are discussing, where he gives entire philosophy within 4 shlokas. So Acharyas have revealed the meaning that we are discussing. So he is saying that I will reveal my knowledge, which is very confidential, and I will also reveal what is supremely secret among all the knowledge, and its anga, that is prema bhakti and sadhana bhakti. So you, by this you will understand how am I situated, like what is my form, what is my feelings, and what is my exact rupa, size, what are my qualities, activities, all those things. By my mercy, you will be able to understand. Then he spoke about this verse, Ahamevasmevagre, where it is like mentioning that only I existed before this creation. And even after creation also I am only existing. Even after destruction also I am only existing. So the meaning we have seen that whatever is existing in this world, the like previous to creation, Lord is existing. So Brahmaji is seeing the Lord and Lord is speaking. And Lord is pointing to himself and saying that I only existed before creation. So that means creation creates like 24 elements. Through that combination, all the universes were born, and through them also the living entities were also born. But Lord is beyond these 24 elements, and that even the pradhana, which is the basis for all these 24 elements, that is his energy only. So he is transcendental. Transcendental meaning he is not he is not at all connected with these three modes and these 24 elements and pradhana. He is beyond these things. So his form is said to be transcendental. So that means he is beyond all these things. But even after creation, whatever we see in this universe, they are all products of his energy in this universal form. So therefore, that is his material form. And being the energy, that is also his energy. So therefore, energy and energetic are non-different. So in that sense, this universal form is also not different from him, but it is material form. But he has, even while during creation also, he maintains his transcendental form in Vaikuntha Lokas and Krishna Lokas. And he also appears with those forms in this world by taking several avatars. So all those avatars are all transcendental. So therefore, even during creation also he exists in forms of avatars in Vaikuntha and in material form as universal form. Even after destruction, his abode remains. So entire universe, when it is destroyed, still he exists in Vaikuntha. So he is not getting affected. So in this way, and when it is said that he exists, it also implies that he exists along with uh, his associates. As Brahmaji was saying, he is surrounded by Vaikuntavasis, so many associates, Lakshmi, and other so many surrounding energies are there. So that means all these things are existing before creation. So those situated in spiritual world, they are all situated eternally. So that is the meaning of the first verse. And second verse, we have seen that where Lord is explaining about Maya. So Maya has the aspects of Vidya and Avidya. And through Vidya, we will understand that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. And through Avidya, we will not understand that we are this soul, but we will identify with the body and the sufferings that ensures with that identification. That means the lamentation and illusion that accrues through this body, subtle body and gross body, that the soul thinks that that is all belongs to him. So that is through avidya. But when vidya is there, he is like situated in the bliss of his soul, but not identifying with the body. So that is the action of Mahamaya. But the action of Yogamaya is that it sometimes reveal Krishna and sometimes it hides Krishna. So for his devotees, we have seen several examples like Yashoda and Arjuna, Brahmaji. So sometimes it reveals the form of Krishna, sometimes it hides the form of Krishna. So there are like Yogamaya. So in this way, both material Mahamaya and Yogamaya work in connection with Krishna. So then the third verse is saying that Yata Mahanti Bhutani Bhuteshu Uchavacheshvanu Pravishtani Apravishtani Tata Teshu Nateshvaham. He says that just like material elements are there, they enter into bodies and does not enter into bodies. So what is the meaning is that like my element, for example, earth element is there. Earth element is there in our body and also it exists separately from our body, right? So similarly, Lord is saying that pravishtani apravishtani tata teshu nateshvaham. So I also situated in this world and at the same time I am also not situated in this world. That means I also enter into the elements and I also do not enter. remaining separately in my abode. So that means in whatever world, just like element earth is there in our body as well as separately also existing. Water element is there in our bodies and also separately existing. Similarly, Lord is situated in this world, in everywhere, in all the elements, and at the same time, He is situated outside this world also, in a spiritual world. Pravishtani apravishtani. Tada teshu na teshvaham. I am there and also not there. Aham is saying, Lord Vishnu is saying. So that means uh, everywhere the Lord is situated, but He is also situated in His Vaikuntha. And how, as a super soul, He is pervading everywhere, and that pervasion, just like elements, they are pervading everywhere. Like, for example, the earth element is pervading in our bodies, but but these elements, they are not conscious, right? The elements are not conscious, and because of that, they are all without any attachments in the living being when they are situated. So it's not that earth is present in our body and earth will feel anything. So it doesn't feel anything. It is not conscious. But uh, I am actually conscious of everything. Although I am situated everywhere, but I am conscious of everything. But I am situated without any attachment. So I remain without attachment while entering and regulating and protecting all beings. As a Paramatma, the Supreme Lord is present everywhere in this world, but He is completely detached from all the happenings in this world. So that is the nature of Paramatma. He is he is operating like everything in this world, and but still He is completely detached, and He is fully attached in the spiritual world with His associates. So that is the nature of Paramatma. I means Paramatma is none other than Vishnu only in his feature. But in relation to, there is one more meaning for this, that in relation to Yogamaya, in relation to spiritual activities, in relation to his devotees, he remains like he is situated in devotees' hearts. At the same time, he shows himself outside their bodies, as he want to show himself to as a form in front of their eyes. He want to uh, he want to make his devotees smell his beautiful fragrance. He want to devotees to hear his beautiful sweet voice and speaking them. So in this way, he situated inside his devotees and also situated externally also for the devotees. Pravishtani apravishtani. And for the devotees, he is not detached, he is reciprocate with attachment. As a Paramatma, the Lord is situated everywhere, everyone's heart, but he is like acting in the capacity of controller and doing activities, but he is not attached. But as a Bhagavan feature, when someone is performing devotional service, want to connect with him, so then as a Bhagavan feature, he starts reciprocating with the devotee and he shows his form, and he even like before showing his form also he reciprocate in several ways by taking care of the devotee and supplying what is he is lacking and protecting in his sadhanas and everywhere. So that is the nature of the Lord. So when someone is performing, so he is equal to everyone. Like in Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshosti na priyaha. Ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maite teshu chapyaham. I am equal to everyone. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshosti na priyaha. There is, I don't hate anyone and there is no one dear to me. But whoever performs devotional service to me, I am in them and they are in me. So that means, like, as Paramatma is there in everyone's heart, but for devotees, he reciprocates with their special love, and he personally take care of them. So in that sense, he is there in everyone's heart, and the devotees are in his heart, like that. So in this way, the Lord reciprocate with different people. Then he is finally saying that etavadeva jijnasyam tattva jijnasunatmanah anvaya vyatirekabyam yatsyat sarvatra sarvada. So he is concluding that the devotees who want to understand this tattva jnana, he should inquire till this point that but through anvaya and vyatireka, he should understand that sadhana which will fulfill all these things through anvaya vyatireka, and which can be practiced sarvatra sarvada, everywhere and every place. So this, what is basically Lord is saying is that the person who is desiring to achieve, he should understand the sadhana, and that sadhana which will give him best results through Anvaya and Vyatireka. So what is meant by that? Anvaya means by performing that sadhana, he should get all the results. And Vyatireka means if someone does not perform that sadhana, he will not get those results. So that means if there is some sadhana, by practicing that sadhana, if he will achieve all the results that he wants, then that sadhana is said to be the good sadhana. And by not practicing that sadhana, he will not achieve those results which he wants. So that sadhana is also good sadhana. But if there is some sadhana by practicing which you will not achieve your result by the assistance of other sadhanas, that is not a good sadhana. And if you don't practice that sadhana, but still you are able to achieve your results, then still that is not a good sadhana. So here, there are many sadhanas in this world prescribed for achieving different goals. So they are like karma, jnana, yoga, and bhakti. So out of them, the only bhakti process is said to be satisfying this criteria of anvaya vyatireka. So why? Because if bhakti is there, only by performing bhakti, one can achieve the goals of all the sadhanas. So for example, the goal of karma, performing activities, dharma, is that people want to enjoy in this world, or people may want to enjoy in the swarga, nice material comforts and enjoyment. So all these things are the goal of karma and also dharma, maybe. So these goals, by performing bhakti alone, if someone wants all these enjoyments, by performing bhakti alone, they can get. So, and even karma alone, if it doesn't have the element of bhakti, it will not give these results. So that means even if someone performs karma, if he wants to enjoy in this world nice places, nice objects and everything, or even beyond this world in Swarga, nice places, nice objects, nice opulences, all these things if one wants to enjoy. So he may perform so many activities, but if that activities, if they lack bhakti, those will also not give its results. And by performing bhakti alone, all these, if someone desires all these things, this will be fulfilled. So that is one criteria. And jnana, the goal of jnana is to attain liberation in the form of merging into the Lord. So bhakti, by practicing bhakti alone, if someone wants to achieve that, he can achieve. And jnana, by alone, it cannot give that liberation if it doesn't have the element of bhakti. So therefore, bhakti is needed even while practicing jnana and yoga. So therefore, jnana and yoga on its own they cannot give its results. But by bhakti, if someone practices bhakti in order to achieve that merging into the Lord, they can achieve through bhakti. And uh, without the elements of jnana and yoga also. So therefore, bhakti is said to be achieving the goals of karma, jnana and yoga. And karma, jnana and yoga, they cannot achieve their own goals without the help of bhakti. So in that sense, bhakti is like very, very nice sadhana, which is satisfying both Anvaya criteria and Vyatireka criteria. And also, the goal of bhakti is that prema, so love for the Lord. So that means, like in this world, the goals, like different people may have different goals. Basically, we all work or we all do all our activities with the intention. Some intention is there, some motivation is there for us to all to perform. So what are those motivations? Ultimately, it can be boiled down to happiness, we can say. Everyone is looking for happiness and everyone is trying to avoid happiness. But there are varieties of happiness. So one kind of happiness is like through material sense gratification, through material objects, one can want to achieve sense gratification. So that is called as Indriya Sukha. So those Indriya Sukha is like is available in this earth through our senses. So if all our senses work very properly, we can enjoy that Indriya Sukha nicely. But even in this world is also sometimes we'll get more, sometimes we'll get less. But in Swarga, it is said that the Indriya Sukha is like very, very high. Like someone wants to enjoy this material sense gratification, they are like given information that, oh, if you go to Swarga, you will can enjoy. Or even in this world also, oh, in this place, the happiness is not much there. But if you go to different place, your happiness may be more. So like that, people may have like wherever they find more happiness, they may shift. So like that, these places are there even in this world and even in Swarga. So all these places basically they may give Indriya Sukha. But more than so this is like one kind of Sukha. And there are other kinds of Sukhas based on the liberation, Mukti, where someone is merging into Brahman. So there is what is called as Brahmananda, where the happiness is coming from the soul itself. Even beyond soul also, even in this uh, even these senses, beyond these senses also, there may be some kind of happiness through one attains through their ego and intelligence by through relationships. All these things may little bit satisfy ego and that may also give pleasure. But beyond these material pleasures, Brahmananda is said to be the happiness of the soul when it is apart from its own the ahankara and other factors. So that happiness is said to be 1,000 times, like it is like many times higher than Indriya Sukha also. And Bhakti Sukha is like the soul in connection with the Supreme Lord. When the soul serves the Supreme Lord, the happiness that achieves through that happiness is said to be like many times, many million times more than even Brahmananda. So Brahmananda, Bhakti Sukha is compared to an ocean and Brahmananda is like said to be one drop. So Bhakti Sukha is like compared to very, very high. So that goal, these goals will vary for different persons. Like some person in this world may try to achieve the happiness through senses. That is one goal. That is like that can be achieved through karma or other means. And other person when he is frustrated with all this happiness, because in this world the happiness one gets through karma or through sense gratification, that always has flip side. That means happiness and distress both come in a coin, just like in a coin, head and tail both are there. So happiness comes with backside, distress also. So if some person is completely disgusted with this happiness in this world, so then they may try to escape from this happiness and try to achieve liberation, mukti. And he doesn't. That person is like jnani who want to achieve the happiness of the soul, liberation, Brahmananda. But beyond that, a person, when he understands that actually I am part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, so therefore I will achieve my happiness through serving the Lord. So that in that service, when he is taking pleasure, so that is called as Bhakti Sukha. So that happiness is like the highest happiness, and it is like intrinsic in the soul, which is like the soul's activity. So that is the goal of bhaktas, to achieve that love for the Lord, that prema for the Lord, which is inherent in the soul. So that is actually the constitutional position of the soul, where Jivera Swarupa hai Krishnera Nityadas. The original nature Swarupa of the Jiva is he is the servant of the Supreme Lord. When he achieves that original position, he achieves the greatest happiness. So in that way, these three goals are distinguished between different personalities. And based on these goals, different personalities perform these different activities. But even if a person wants these three, like I want Indriya Sukha, I want Swarga, or I want material comforts, opulences in this world, still, if he performs bhakti, he can achieve all these things. So, because bhakti, the Lord is favorably disposed towards devotees, he will grant those desires if he is having those desires. And if someone wants to achieve that liberation of merging, still he grants the Lord. But if someone wants to achieve the Vaikuntha Lokas and enjoy with him, that also he grants. And if someone wants to purely serve the Lord, and in that experience that rasa, that is a pure bhakti, that also he grants through bhakti. So that is the process that Lord is recommending. So Anvaya Vyatireka means bhakti process which satisfy all these criteria that the person should practice. Etavat eva jijnasyam. And till he achieves that prema, he should continue to practice that process. And that bhakti process in the scriptures is mentioned as sarvatra sarvada. One can practice at all places and in all times. So, for example, in other processes, if we take karma process, there are like so many restrictions. You cannot do in these times. You cannot practice at this point of time. So they and even for jnana, there are restrictions who can perform jnana. For jnana, the prerequisite is that heart should be clean. Then only he can start practicing that jnana. So only after practicing nishkama karma yoga, when his heart is clean, so that time he can start practicing jnana. But for bhakti, there is no prerequisite required. Even a person of like, even if he has a lot of impurities, still he can start immediately practicing bhakti, and he can practice at any point of time. So at any place he can practice bhakti, at any time also he can practice. There is no hindrance to practice, like this is Rahukal or this is a bad Muhurta, I cannot practice bhakti. So there are no such restrictions for bhakti. He can practice at any point of time, at any place. There are like any place, even if it is some bad place or any place, there also one can remember the Lord, one can practice bhakti. And it can be practiced at any point of age. It's not that only old age it needs to be practiced. Even in the womb also people have practiced, like Prahlad Maharaj. He started his bhakti practice when he is in the womb of his mother, Narad Muni, when he taught. And even in childhood also one can practice. Kaumara Acharet Prajno, like Dhruva Maharaj practiced in the childhood. And even in old age also one can practice. even in youth also one can practice. So in all ages, bhakti can be practiced. And bhakti, all people of all varnas, they can practice. And even if they don't have any varna till now, they are like outside of varnashram, or they are like kirata, hunandra, pulinda, pulkasha, kiratas, hunas, pulindas, like any caste, any grade, anywhere. If they attain the association of devotees and understood the glories, they can start practice. So all stages of life they can practice. So in that way, the sadhana is sarvatra sarvada, the sadhana, and it satisfies anvaya vyatireka abhyam. And through that one will achieve the goals of prema and the through sadhana bhakti. So sadhana bhakti means one doesn't have uh, one doesn't have love for the Lord, but through knowing that scriptures are indicating that one should practice bhakti, by that he will start practicing, and by that slowly he will develop love for the Lord. That is sadhya bhakti. So in this way, one should inquire about all these things and start practicing sadhana bhakti. So that is what Lord is recommending to Brahmaji. And through that sadhana bhakti, he will attain prema bhakti. So previously he is mentioning that sa rahasyam tadangam, I will give you. So rahasyam is prema bhakti, tadangam is sadhana bhakti. So by practicing this bhakti, that practice is called as tadangam. You will attain the prema bhakti. So that is sa rahasya. So that he mentioned in this shloka, what he promised that I will tell. So, and this bhakti, through this, he is also mentioning that, through this shloka, he is also mentioning that Lord is full of rasa. So that through sadhana bhakti, he will attain the Lord. So what is that Lord? So that Lord is full of rasa. He is rasa means like lot of juice. That means when a devotee attains the relationship with the Lord, so Lord reciprocate in those relationships. So all these rasa also one should inquire through these processes. So that is also is mentioning. Through Lord reciprocates with his devotees through different rasas. All those rasas, the devotees experience with the Lord through direct meeting with the Lord and by separation from the Lord. And they experience in all places, everywhere in the universe and Vaikuntha Loka. So that is also another meaning of this verse. In this way, Lord is giving the Chatushloki to Brahmaji. So after mentioning that Chatushloki, that where sadhana bhakti and how he is existing everywhere, how his mayas are existing everywhere. The Lord is again concluding that you have my benediction, Brahmaji, that you will never get benediction, you will never get bewildered in your lifetime. So therefore, Brahmaji, he has got the benediction that he will never get bewildered by Lord's Maya, Lord's Mahamaya. So, and therefore, after giving that benediction, he disappeared from the Brahmaji's vision. So Brahmaji could see all those things through that vision, and Lord spoke. Then Brahmaji, based on that instruction of the Lord, he created this whole world. And he, at that point of time, Narada Muni has approached and he asked for the knowledge of this Supreme Lord. That previously that Narada Muni has approached Brahmaji. That happened after this point. So that time Brahmaji has given that knowledge to Narada Muni. So that knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam, Chatushloki, and maybe it may include other full Bhagavatam also. That Bhagavatam he gave it to Srila Narada Muni. So that Narada Muni, because why he gave, Narada Muni is said to be the real inheritor of Brahmaji. Brahmaji has several sons, but out of his sons, Narada Muni is said to be the real son because he is practicing bhakti, and bhakti is what Brahmaji appreciates more. So Narada Muni, he received that knowledge of bhakti through Brahma, and Narada Muni gave that Bhagavatam to Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva, he compiled that Bhagavat Puran and he gave it to his son Shukadeva Goswami, and that Shukadeva Goswami gave that knowledge to Parikshit Maharaj. In that way, that knowledge flowed, and Suta Goswami is Parikshit Shukadeva Goswami is telling that now I will speak that knowledge of Bhagavatam to you. So like that he is speaking. So I will speak all that Bhagavatam. He says that which contains 10 characteristics. I will speak that knowledge of Bhagavatam which contains 10 characteristics, which was spoken by the Lord in 4 verses. So, and I will explain how this universe arose from that universal form. So that Bhagavatam, which contains 10 characteristics, that he explains in the next chapter. So any Purana or any Purana which has any Purana is said to be having explaining 10 topics in general. So the even Bhagavatam is said to be explaining 10 topics. So those topics are Atra Sarga Visargascha Sthanam Poshana Mutaya Manvantareshanukada Nirodho Muktirashraya. So these are the 10 topics that Bhagavatam is describing. Atra Sarga. So these are all meanings are also given. Atra Sarga. Sarga means creation. Creation means the elementary creation of 16 items of matter. That means are 24 elements. So initially the Lord creates the different elements so that those elements will form universe, and those elements will also form the bodies of all the living entities. So those 24 elements, those elementary creation is called as Sarga. And Visarga is secondary creation, where the Brahmaji, he creates the different bodies of the living entities. So that is called as Visarga. Atra Sarga Visarga. So in the 3rd canto, Visarga is explained in more detail. Sarga is also explained in 2nd canto, which we have seen, and also explained in 3rd canto also, how Supreme Lord creates all these different 24 elements. In 3rd canto, especially how Brahmaji creates all the different bodies that are mentioned. Sthanam is said to be the Sthanam is said to be the body, the different the victory of the Lord of Vaikunta. The definition that is given is Sthanam Vaikunta Vijaya. Sthanam Vaikunta Vijaya means there are different places in this world which exist in this world, and how in different places Lord gives protection, and therefore when he gives his protection to his devotees, that shows his excellence. Vijaya, Vaikunta Vijaya, Vaikunta is the Supreme Lord, so that shows his excellence in comparison to other people. And this Sthanam is also referred to the condition of living entities in different places. So like in this universe also there are different places. So all those places are also explained in 5th canto, and how lords give protection. So the next is mentioned as Poshanam. Poshanam is Tat Anugraha, the causeless mercy of the Lord, how he maintains different living entities. So that is also explained in Bhagavatam. So we are all getting nourished through this Prakriti. So generally people think that Prakriti is supplying everything. Like we are receiving sunlight, we are receiving water, everything. So, but beyond that, Lord is personally, he is like through his energies, he is orchestrating all these things. So, Poshanam, how he maintains. Poshanam tat anugraha. So, Lord shows his mercy to some, the devotees when they perform sadhana. He, uh, he, he still give his mercy to them, even if he perform some sin by some accident, still he shows some protection. He protects them. So that is the meaning of Poshana. He also gives protection. And also he maintains all the living entities. That is Poshana. He protects the jivas in general. But who are more devotees, he takes care, special care for his devotees. That is also his anugraha. And Manvantarani Sadharma. So in Manvantara, so there are like Manvantara. In Brahmaji's day, there are 14 Manus. So in each Manu, Lord appears in this world, and he also in Manvantara, there are so many different kinds of religious, right? Kings are there who perform they establish dharma in the Manvantara. So all those narrations in connection with Manu's reigns, those are also explained. The different kings who rule in Manvantaras and their establishment of dharma, how they religiously ruled. All those things are also explained in Purana. And the so this and then Uti represents to Uti karma vasana. Udaya karma vasana is the definition that is given. So that means like whenever a living entity performs any action, good or bad, that leaves some vasana in that. So that's how, like for example, if someone performs some bad habit, bad thing. So the more than the reaction that we'll get, the it will create some impression in his mind. So that is called as karma vasana. Or any positive thing also it will create. For example, someone ate some ice cream. Previously, he never ate ice cream, but he ate ice cream, and he very much liked it. So till that point, he never ate ice cream. That thought of eating ice cream and that those things are not there in his mind. But when he ate that ice cream, when he liked that, so that vasana which he experienced, that will store in his mind. So later on, when he after some time, when he again sees some ice cream, he will develop that desire to eat that, and again he will eat that ice cream. So this is why he is like now he got that. Previously, he may not get attached to that ice cream when he doesn't know the taste. But when he once experienced the taste, he wants to experience the taste again. So, but that is because of previous vasana, that is there in his mind. That is called as karma vasana. So these karma vasana can be both pious and impious. So both these are all there in his mind. So those impressions which are there are mentioned as pious or impious. So which will create, if they are pious impressions, they will create happiness. But if they are impious creations, that will cause distress. So all these living entities in this world, they experience all those things. So there is in relation to jiva, those things are mentioned. And dharma, previously like Manvantarani, Dharma. So these dharma, the living entities experiencing the sattvika jivas when they are engaged in dharma, karma yoga. So they are all experiencing different aspects. So that is also included in Manvantara. So they are performing dharma and their positive and negative impressions over there. And then Ishanukada is another topic. Ishanukada means the Supreme Lord, he appears in this world taking different avatars, and his devotees also will come. They exhibit various activities. So all those stories, they are all mentioned as Ishanukada. So activities of the Lord and his devotees. Nirodha refers to like Sarga is elemental creation, how 24 elements are created and later on the whole universe is created. Nirodha is means how all these 24 elements again they merge back into Mahavishnu. So the destruction, how it will take place. So that is Nirodha and winding up. Mukti is like when a jiva, he attains mukti hitva anyada rupam swarupena vyavastitihi. He has given up this temporary condition of this body and senses and subtle mind, but he attains the original situation of his Swarupa with the relation with the Supreme Lord. So that is called as Mukti. So this is like present situation is called as temporary, but the real situation when he attains the shelter of the Lord, that is called as Mukti. And Ashraya, this is the 10th topic, which is the Ashraya Tattva, which all these 9 items, they are mentioned in relation to Jiva, how Jiva's bodies are created, how they are maintained in different places, how Lord shows maintenance them. He establishes Dharma and he incarnates and he winds up, gives liberation. So they all depends on this 10th topic, Ashraya, Supreme Reservoir. That Supreme Lord, Supreme Being is the Ashraya for the Jiva. So all these 9 topics, they are explained so that people attain this 10th topic. This is Ashraya. So the Ashraya is all the 9 topics beginning from creation to liberation. They all depend on this Ashraya Tattva, this Bhagavan, who is also called as Paramatma and Brahman. And so this Bhagavan, Paramatma or Brahman, Paramatma, he is different from Jiva. So that is being explained that how a living entity, when he is experiencing in this world, he like he sees through he experiences through his subtle senses. Like as I mentioned previously, when we are seeing, there is a gross sense organ called eye, chakshu, and there is a subtle, akshini, there is a subtle sense organ called chakshu, which is there within us, subtle, which we cannot observe. And even there is a devata called as sun god, who is supporting us to see through which we are able to see. So all these 3 aspects are mentioned in Bhagavatam as Adhyatmika, Adibhautika and Adidaivaka. Combination of these 3 will actually, through them only we are able to function in this world. So Adibhautika is our physical eye. Adhyatmika is our subtle sense organ called Chakshu. Adidaivika is the Surya Dev, who is helping these 2. So all these 3, only when these 3 are there, we are able to see. Even if one item is missing out of these 3, we will not be able to see. But so a soul, Jiva, is situated in his body and is able to function based on all these 3 aspects. But a soul is like situated differently from these 3. And for super soul, Paramatma, is even higher than this Jiva. So super soul is beyond these 3 aspects. So therefore he is called as Ashraya. So soul is depending upon super soul, and super soul only manifests these 3 natures, Adhyatmika, Adibhautika and Adidevaka. So therefore the supreme shelter for the Jiva is Paramatma. and that Paramatma is also called as Bhagavan and Brahman. So in this way, the 10 topics are explained, and these 10 topics are like how the universe has arrived from these universal form. That also he explains that, like the Garbhodakshai Vishnu, like this universe previously, as we previously discussed, that Karmadakshai Vishnu, he is lying on Karana ocean. From him, 24 elements have come. So all those 24 elements, they are not able to combine on their own. So that time they pray to the Devatas, they pray to the Karmadakshai Vishnu. That time the Lord, through his energy, make them form into universes. So in that each universe, the Karmadakshai Vishnu fills that universe with his water. So that water is called as Garbhodaka water. And he, in each universe, he comes and lies down. So that personality that lies down is called as Garbhodakashahi Vishnu. And he lies down there for 1,000 years. So that he is also called as Narayana, because Nara, the waters have come from the Supreme Lord. So Nara is the Supreme Lord, which comes from Nara is Nara. So Nara is actually that which comes from Supreme Lord, so which is referring to waters. So water is also called as Nara. And the Supreme Lord is lying on that waters. So therefore he is called as Narayana. So this Lord Vishnu who is lying in water is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, is also called as Narayana. So he lies down for 1,000 years. After that, there is a form called as universal form is residing in the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So those universal form which is residing in Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, it gives rise to, it starts activating, and it manifests himself in three features. So those are called as Adhyatmika, Adibhautika and Adidevika, which I have mentioned as previously. So Adhyatmika refers to subtle senses which we have in our subtle body. Adibhautika refers to the gross senses that we have, our ears, nose, like which we are able to see. Adidevika refers to the corresponding sense devatas, which support all these senses. So the Supreme Lord Garbhodakshaya Vishnu in his Virat Rupa, that universal form is dividing himself into these three features: Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, and Adidevika. And in that, through these three processes, like that universal form desires to see. So therefore, there are two eyes that are created in that universal form, and in that the Devata, Sun Devata has entered, and subtle sense organ and the Tanmatra, which is like form, is also derived from this. So like that, it applies to all the other senses also. So that means when universal form want to hear, the time the Karna, the like ears of the universal form has formed, in that Dig Devatas have entered, and through them the subtle ears are formed, that and Tanmatra of sound has appeared. So like that, all the 10 senses that we have, the universal form is creating. So basically, whatever we are experiencing, whatever activities we are able to do, all these things are actually created by the Supreme Lord through these Adhyatma and Adideva and Adibhautika aspects. So in this way, the creation of these three elements and all the 10 senses are mentioned. So and then he also created the dhatus, prana, and mind and intelligence, through which our own subtle body functions. So these are all is like coming from the universal form. So that universal form comes out as a lotus on which the Brahmaji has appeared. And Brahmaji, through that universal lotus, he makes into gross universes, which we are able to see. With the 14 planetary systems are formed through that universal form, which is arising from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So in this way, there is gross universal form, which you are gross universe, which we are seeing, and subtle universal form, which is beyond this. All these things are actually the material forms of Lord Vishnu. They are not spiritual form. Spiritual form is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Spiritual form is Kshirodakshaya Vishnu and Karanodakshaya Vishnu. But this universal form is material form. This universe is material. So therefore, wise people, they don't accept this material universal form as the original form of the Lord, but which is like which is they only accept the spiritual transcendental form of the Lord. So in this way, Lord only he accept the form of Brahma and create the jivas, and Lord only he that through them he creates different living entities like manus, devatas, animals, and humans based on their karma previous to karma. Brahmaji, the Lord in the form of Brahmaji, he manifests all of them. So he empowers Brahmaji. And Lord, all these living entities, they are according to their nature, they are given specific forms. And Lord only in the form of Shiva, he destroys all these worlds. So today is also celebrating the Mahashivaratri, the aspect of the Lord as Gunavatara Shiva. So Shiva, Lord Shiva is one of the aspect of the Supreme Lord. He is like Gunavatara, like Brahma is also Gunavatara. And Lord Shiva, the example that is given in Brahma Samhita is like, he is like a Kshiram Yatadadi Vikara Vishesha Yoga Sanjayate Nahi Tata Pradagasti Heto. Yashambhutamapi tada samupaiti karya govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So just like curd, where like milk is transformed into curd by adding some curd, by adding some substance. Similarly, Lord is supremely transcendental. He never comes in contact with three modes. But the same Lord, when he is in touch with the modes in order to do the activities related to this world, so he takes the form of Shiva. So Shiva is different from the Lord and non-different. He is different in the sense he is like he's coming in touch with the modes. And Lord, Supreme Lord is never comes in touch with the Lord. So, and in especially in Bhagavatam, the last canto, last chapter glorifies Lord Shiva as Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu. So he is the supreme most Vaishnava. So Lord Shiva is the, like many places in Bhagavatam, it comes that Lord Shiva is the supreme most devotee of the Lord. In fact, he himself appears to many devotees and instruct about devotional service, how one should perform devotional service. For example, he has appeared to Prachetas. Prachetas, when they are going to worship the Supreme Lord, Lord Shiva is pleased with them because they are going to worship the Lord Vishnu, and he came and gave them instructions how to worship Lord Vishnu. So Lord Shiva is most pleased if someone worships Lord Vishnu. Therefore, he is said in Bhagavatam as Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu, Nimnaganam Yata. There, the glorification is about Bhagavatam, where it is like mentioned that when like just like among the flowing rivers, Mother Ganges is famous. Similarly, Vaishnavanam Yada Shambhu, just like out of all the devotees, Lord Shiva is famous. And similarly, this Bhagavatam is famous. Share that verse. So this verse is saying in the end, Nimnaganam yata Ganga, Devanam Achyuto yada, Vaishnavanam yata Shambhu, Purananam idam tata. So just as the Ganges is the greatest of all rivers, just like Lord Achyuta is the supreme among all devatas, Vaishnavanam yada Shambhu. Lord Shambhu is the greatest of Vaishnavas. And Purananam idam dada. Among all the Puranas, Srimad Bhagavatam is the supreme Purana. So in that sense, Lord Shiva is glorified as the supreme Vaishnava. So we can take shelter of Lord Shiva and to achieve the bhakti towards the Lord Vishnu. So that is the great we can achieve. So in this way, Lord maintains, and Lord, pure devotees see him not only as the creator, but he exists in the spiritual world, enjoying in his own pastimes. So he, like all these description, connection with universal form and this thing, is it like Lord is in connection with ourselves, bodies, and our activities, but he has his own abode where he is enjoying. So pure devotees also connect with him in his own abode. So they don't consider him as only as a Srushtikarta, but they do understand that he has his own pastimes in Goloka and Vaikuntha as Krishna, Narayana. So actually Lord does all these things, creation, maintenance, and destruction, through his energies. He indirectly takes, he doesn't directly take part. But if people say if he doesn't take part, people may ascribe that to some other personalities. Therefore, it is said that Lord is actually the cause of creation, maintenance, and destruction. So in this way, he narrated the Sarga happens at the beginning of Brahmaji's life. That means all the elemental creation. At the end of Brahmaji's everyday end, Visarga, he creates again the bodies. So Brahmaji's, during one day, all the creations he makes, and during the Sarga, all the elemental creation, 24 elements will be created. So at this point of time, the Saunakadi Rishis, they previously heard about, there is some discussion happened between Vidura and Maitreya, and they wanted to hear that Samvada. So please narrate that Vidura Maitreya Samvada, they asked. So Suta Goswami replied that yes, same conversation also happened between Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. I will narrate that conversation. So in this way, second canto ends with the description of the how creation happened, and with the description of Vidura Maitreya Samvada that he wants to have. So that Vidura Maitreya Samvada, third canto will start. So in this way we have studied this second canto also. Maybe I'll stop here.
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.